This is Akashvani. In the program Spotlight, now we bring a discussion on key provisions of the Public Examinations Prevention of Unfair Means Bill 2024. The participants are Sushma Yadav, Member of University Grants Commission, and Anubha Rohtagi, Anchor.
The Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Bill 2024, aimed at preventing use of unfair means in various public examinations, has been passed by the Lok Sabha. To discuss the key features of this bill, I am now joined by Professor Sushma Yadav, Member UGC. Professor Yadav, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Professor Yadav, over the years, incidents of cheating, paper leak, impersonation and other such unfair means during public exams have been increasing at an alarming rate. And to curb such malpractices, a bill has now been passed by the Lok Sabha. Would you say that such a bill was the need of the hour?
Surely it was the need of the hour because I think malpractices, paper leak, copying, mass copying, they had entered into the public psyche so much that people had started thinking in those terms only. They were not bothered whether the student is studying or working hard, but they were finding shortcuts and means which were not fair to get success. We had in English this proverbs, nothing succeeds like success. And we used to hear when we were children. But it had come into the being of people in India, which had, I think, surpassed all kinds of ethical considerations. And in rural areas especially, there was a different kind of activities where copying, mass copying was much more in prevalence. So people stopped reading, writing or teaching, and they just indulged in such kind of activities. In urban areas, it was a different kind of cheating. It may not be copying as much, than paper leaking, getting solutions, impersonation, or, all kinds of such things which were there. We introduced transparency by having the online examinations or having computer-based examinations. There also, I think Indian mind has become so unscrupulous. They started finding ways how to leak them, how to change the, OR, or how to change the sheet, or how to change or switch over the schedules, etc., etc. Therefore, I think it was very much need of the hour because it was harming those students who were meritorious. It was harming those students who really wished to work hard, and it was harming the entire social psyche or the public mind, which started thinking that there's no need of working hard, there's no need of pursuing merit, because all such means may make a person successful.
Can you explain for the benefit of our listeners some of the key features of this bill?
This has been introduced to stop the unfair means or prevention of unfair means, as the title itself says. And it has been there to address all kinds of exams which are common entrance test or the public examinations or the UPSC state service exams, NEET, JEE or CUET, which is the latest. So it addresses copying or unfair means in all these examinations. Interesting part is that it tries to introduce imprisonment 3 to 5 years for individuals, and for the organized gangs or organized crime, it goes up to 10 years. And as far as the imposition of fine is up to 10 lakhs for individuals or the unfair means used by individuals. And for those who do it or who are behind it as gangs or organized crime, it's up to 1 CR. It seems it is quite strict, but it goes beyond this also. And if they do not comply with this, then their property can also be confiscated. And the entire cost of exam will also be taken by them. So it seems that the government is trying hard to keep such gangs away or keep the mafia away, which has entered into the examination. So what does it cover? There are 15 activities which it covers under its provisions. If one is associated in any of the activities of leakage of the paper, if anybody is trying to see the question paper or the answer sheet unauthorizedly or keeps them with them, it also involves those who gives answers to questions to an unauthorized individual. It tries to, of course, address the copying also if somebody is helping a student or a candidate in writing the answers, and the assessment of those answer sheets and changes in those answer sheets, then the various conditions and rules which are put by the government, if somebody violates them, and if there are changes in the documents of the candidates which affect his or her selection process. It also talks about security provisions if somebody, hampers or comes in the way. And then if somebody tries to play with the technology, computers, computer network, which are related with the examinations, and also if somebody tries to change the schedule for helping somebody or change the seating arrangement for helping somebody, it seeks to address that also.
Right.
So these are, some of the major areas where this really tries to address malpractices in the examination system.
Right. I'll come first to I want to talk to you about the punitive measures, which you've explained in such detail. What are the punitive measures and the fines that have been, incorporated in this particular bill? Now, do you think that these measures are stringent enough to deter gangs and unscrupulous elements who earn lakhs? Or do you think that incorporating stricter punishment and fast-track trials and convictions would have been more effective?
I think, as an individual, although I have spent enough years in education system, still I found it to be quite harsh, because 1 CR for any person who is serving and who's just and fair and honest seems to be a very big amount. But when you say, are they stringent enough? If you talk about mafias, if you talk about gangs, if you talk about people who get involved in this with a purpose, it may really not be as much. But when we make a law, we take care of all aspects of it. So there are individuals also. For them, I think it's quite a huge amount and quite a big time also. 3 to 5 years for somebody who's involved in it. And if somebody is youth, these are very precious years. Of course, for mafias, it may not be as much, but it goes beyond these also and talks about, going to their property as well. Because 1 CR for a person who's making 100 of crores out of these kinds of activities may not be much. But again, a law has to be balanced. So I would say, yes, your point of having fast-track trials is important. It doesn't come out clearly whether we have a fast-track trial in this, but the punishment is, I think, quite stringent.
The bill has mandated punitive action against what it calls service providers or an organization that provides computer resources or any other support to a public examination authority in case they fail to report incidents of malpractices. How important is this provision in your opinion?
So I think this is very, very important because this aspect needed to be addressed. And usually the organized crime comes from such people only. Those who are providing the computer systems, those who are handling the computer systems, and those who are providing the software, etc. Because I would say it here also, I do not know what had happened to our collective mind or the social psyche that we started trusting all these gangsters and rather looking towards them for making our children successful. This is one aspect, this punitive aspect. But much more important is the other aspect of it, which is social morality, individual morality, and morality of the nation at large, morality of the youth, morality of their parents. As our Honorable Prime Minister just now talked about it in Man Ki Baat, where he said the parents should not impose their choices on the children. And the parents should not impose their dreams on the children also. And parents should not compare children with other children because every child is unique. And I think somewhere this kind of understanding and this kind of mental makeup or this kind of psyche should also enter into the minds of Indian people, Indian citizens as I call them, because that's even more important. After all, a child has his or her dreams, but the dreams are not basically his or her. If they are his dreams or her dreams, they will realize it. But the dreams come from somewhere else. Such imposition should not be there. They can give away, but they should not force the children to become doctors, engineers, civil servants, whatever their dreams are. Maybe we are failing innovations because these kinds of dreams are imposed on children. If we stop doing that, the children will not go towards copying or mass copying or indulging in such malpractices, and they will be able to be much more creative, much more innovative, and much more responsive in their own way to the demands of the time. or to the questions which come.
I want to get back to another aspect of this, another feature of this particular bill. Now, today, technology is at the forefront of every aspect of our lives. And unfortunately, as you mentioned, it is also being used in cheating and other examination malpractices, which is why an important feature of the bill is the proposal to establish a national technical committee that will recommend how to make computerized examination process more secure. How important is this feature?
Yes, it's very important because technology is in the forefront now. And now we are saying that most of the exams are system based or computer based. And we are moving towards it more and more. All the entrance examination are now based on the systems or the computers. And maybe with time, when we are moving towards NEP 2020, maybe more and more exams also come under this. And if the malpractices enter there, or if these gangsters, as it had happened already, that they start harming this or leveraging this technology, get into these kinds of processes where you help some and you harm others, then the very purpose of having technology in examination or technology in evaluation fails. Therefore, addressing this concern through National Technological Committee, I'm sure, is a very good attempt, and I hope and wish that it becomes successful.
Now, this bill, while, as you said, it is the need of the hour, and it is equally important in curbing and stopping the menace of malpractices in examinations from spreading further. But do you believe that creating a central agency specifically to deal with examination malpractices, and that comprises of tech-savvy, cybercrime knowledgeable officers on the lines of CBI, will complement the present bill, and that will overall be more effective?
Surely it will be, because technology is not everyone's cup of tea. And our generation has very few of them. The next generation has many more. But both sides have these people. Even the cyber crime, which is being everyone's pain now, comes out of people who know technology. And if this kind of mind, it's again the mindset of crime or the, negative mindset, which enters into all these and tries to look at shortcuts to make money, shortcuts to get success, shortcuts to be on the top. These are the areas where they work. Then it becomes very difficult for a common human being or a citizen, again, of India to get the leverage or get the benefits of technology, which is being introduced into the examination system for transparency, for responsiveness, for responsibility, for efficiency, and of course for economy. But all this goes waste if we have technological malpractices. And we have seen people using watches, people using phones, people using systems to create these kinds of networks where you get solved answers, where you get papers before you go for the papers examination, etc. So it may have its limitations, but I'm sure this kind of committee will be able to, imagine before or maybe preempt such attempts which are there to harness technology in a negative way or to use technology for harming the entire system of examination. This kind of set of people who understand it would surely help the system in finding out the ills and malpractices.
My last question to you is that, a large section of the country's youth continues to seek the safety of a government job because of the associated benefits. And as you earlier mentioned, the parental pressure is so much. So a law to curb unfair means and punishment alone cannot fight use of unfair practices. The mindset of the society also needs to change simultaneously.
I completely agree with you, and I think this is the most beautiful question. And with this, I appeal to the parents of this youth and the coming generation of India. Parents should not impose their choices on the children. If we stop doing that, the children will not go towards indulging in malpractices, and they will be able to be much more creative in their own way to the demands of the time or to the questions which come.
Thank you so much, Professor Yadav, for joining us on this program.
Thank you very much.
You were listening to a discussion on key provisions of the Public Examinations Prevention of Unfair Means Bill 2024. The participants were Sushma Yadav, Member of University Grants Commission, and Anubha Rohtagi, Anchor. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of Akashvani. You can listen to it on a mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on a YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may share your feedback about this program through email at airnsdtalks@gmail.com or WhatsApp on 9289094044.